Alright guys, welcome to another video of Duff Outdoors, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my top summer baits. Let's get into it. Alright, so I just got back from Cabela's. I really like Bass Pro better, but yeah, I decided to go to Cabela's just because it was closer. I literally live like 5 minutes away from Cabela's, so I wanted to pick up a few essential baits just to show you for today's video. I also have a few more baits in my tackle bag, and I also will show you that are my favorite baits for summer. So here we go. Alright, so here's my Cabela's bag. And the first bait up is a crankbait. This is a Lucky Craft crankbait, and it's this one. It's called a flat CBMR. It kind of looks like a shad. It's really why I like it. A lot of the shad in the places that I fish have that purple hue to it. And I might customize a little bit because the shad that we have a big old black dot right there. So I might color that in. But yeah, crankbaits work really good in the summertime. This one is used for a pond. Real shallow water. This one's to about 4 feet deep. And this is mainly for ponds, the fish in those ponds that are a little bit deeper or really shallow in a lake. So while we're on the topic of crankbaits, if you live on a lake and you can be in a boat, or you have access to a place that has a lot of deep parts to it, like from the bank, I'm going to go through these baits real quick. So this is a Strike King KVD 8XD Sexy Shad color. And I typically throw this in about in a little bit shallower water on a lake. So I'll throw this about, I would say, this can go about 8 to 10 feet. I would say 10 feet probably being the maximum, unless you're really cranking it really fast. You might get up to 11 feet. That's about how deep this sucker goes right here. It's a really good crankbait. I really like it, especially the color, especially when they're feeding on that shad. The second bait is basically a 10XD, but it's a 6th Sense bait. 6th Sense right there. And this one really looks like a baby bass. I really like the color. It's got a really hard and loud rattle. It's got a big old knocker in there. And yeah, this one has a really big bill, as you can see. This sucker can get down to, I'd say, about 20 feet, I would say. This is basically a 10XD, and this thing just gets real deep down in there for those deep summer bass. Most of the time in the summer, especially in the middle of the day, those bass tend to go shallow in the mornings, feed up there, and then when that sun comes out and it really gets hot, they go deeper. And this is for those deep fish that are trying to cool off and find those bait fish. So yeah, that's that one. On to the next bait that I got. Really been wanting to try out these baits. I finally got it. And this is a 5-inch BioSpawn Exo Stick and Black and Blue Flake. Yeah, Black and Blue Flake. And this is an 8-pack. I'll just go ahead and open it up and show you what it looks like. It's a really cool looking worm. You can rig this in all kinds of different ways. And you can Texas rig it, wacky rig it, even Carolina rig it if you want to. You can rig this any type of way. And this bait is really interesting because these rivets in the bait give it a totally crazy and different action. And it makes it sink slower due to these rivets. So these rivets in it, as it goes down, collects bubbles, and it slowly sinks to the bottom. And that's when those bass usually hit, is when that sucker is really slowly sinking down there. But this thing has really good action. I've been really wanting to try it out, so I finally got me some. I mean, you can't go wrong with Black and Blue, so that's why I got that. Now on to one that I've been really wanting for the summertime, because those bass are really slowing things down, being finicky. So yeah, here's what I went ahead and got. Got 2 different kinds of this right here. So this is a Picasso brand. I've never heard of this brand, but Picasso shaky football head, shaky head, and there it is right there. This one is a 3/16 ounce, and it's it's a 3-pack, and this has something really interesting to it. It has a really, I don't know if you can see that, but right there, the head is has real divots in it. And what I'm thinking is that on the way down, that this sucker has a little bit of vibration as you pop it up or move it. And that's a really cool thing to have on a shaky head, especially when you're moving it really slow, which you usually are on a shaky head. So it looks pretty cool. Can't wait to try that out. Now I'll throw this on probably, I'd say, 6 inch like plasma tail worm or watermelon red worm, like a trick worm. I don't know, I might throw it on something like that, but let's go into my next rig, which I've really been wanting. I'm going to be throwing a drop shot rig, and they didn't quite have the hooks that I wanted. This is the type of hook that you would like. An octopus circle hook works really good for drop shotting. I would really want a 1/0, but they only had a 2/0, so I'm going to have to live with that, but they work really good for drop shotting, and I can't wait to use that. I also got some drop shot baits, drop shot weights, and this is a 1/4 ounce teardrop weight, and this is a tungsten Reigns drop shot weight, and it comes with a 3-pack, really easy to put on. All you gotta do is just clip it on the line. And the reason I got this one and not they have little thin tube ones that a lot of people use on the drop shot rigs is because that usually works really good in the rock areas, and most of the areas I fish don't have rocks, so I decided just to get the teardrop, and I think it's gonna work really good, especially since it's tungsten. Here's some of my drop shot baits I got. So I went ahead and got this Biospawn plasma tail. It's a really interesting color. It's a green, purple, gold flake plasma. And I'm gonna go ahead and open it up for you. I'm not sponsored by Biospawn at all means, but they have some really cool baits that came out, and they look super cool, so I had to try them out. And this is a, I believe, 4.5? Yeah, 4.5. This is what it looks like. It's really thick at the top, and then it gets thinner as it goes down. And the bottom looks like a little diamond, and it's got that chartreuse color. It's gonna look really good on a drop shot. I can't wait to use this. It just has a really interesting color, so I can't wait to use that on my drop shot bait. And next, this bait looks really good as well, is the Robo Worm. You can throw this on shaky heads, you can Texas rig it, but the main reason I bought this was for my drop shot. Now, I'm not going to take this one out of the package just yet, but just because it has a lot of salt infused in it, and I don't want to get my hands all stinky here and get salt all over the studio in here. But yeah, and it doesn't have a resealable package. But this is a Robo Worm, and it's a 4.5 inch straight tail Erler's Edge, I believe is pronounced. But yeah, this is a Robo Worm hot tip. This is a really interesting color. On the back right here, it's like a blue shad color, and on the other side, it's like a watermelon red flake color. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really interesting. It's gonna work really good on the drop shot rig. Now I'm gonna be showing you what setup I would throw my drop shot on. So here is my spinning setup. This is a Penn Battle 2 reel and a Penn Battle 2 rod And yeah, this has 15-pound tests on it, I believe. You can go lower than that, especially for finesse fishing. But I'm gonna put that drop shot rig on here, and yeah, see how that works. I'm really gonna put some finesse on this bass. I'm gonna go out there later on today and see what I can get. But yeah, those bass in the summer tend to really slow down, so you gotta slow down your presentation and everything. Once they're feeding, then crankbaits work great. There's a lot of bait fish, but highly recommend the drop shot rig or anything slow like the shaky head or like the next bait I will be showing you. So this next bait is this is a football head jig, and this is by Outcast Tackle, Touchdown 2 jig. And this is a 1/2 ounce, and it's like a green, like a pumpkin color with a green flake, and I really like it. It's called Green Crawdad. That's the color. I'll go ahead and take it out of the package for y'all so you can see. Alright, so here's the jig. It has the rivets in it just like the shaky head. I'm going to put it's got that weed guard on there, which you really need for jigs, especially because you're throwing in that thick, heavy cover. And I'm going to put on most likely one of my green or brown craw trailers on this. It's going to look really good with this jig. So now going into what my real essential baits for summer. So I got these two set up. I fished with this morning. This bait right here. Favorite topwater bait pretty much ever created. I love this bait, and I always use it in the mornings. Always have it tied on no matter where I am. And it is a spook. Now colors can change depending on the conditions, but here's what I like to throw. This is a white spook. So it has a 1 knocker in it. And I'm gonna throw this color in more muddy conditions, just because that white really stands out to this bass, but it really does work in all types of conditions, just because white looks like a shad, but I really would use this one in more muddy types conditions. Alright, so, and I also have another spook, and this spook is this in 60 shad color. Same thing, it's got a 1 knocker. And I'm going to throw this in all types of conditions. If I see shad schooling, I'll pick this sucker up and chunk it out there, hopefully get one. And I'll throw this in clear water, muddy water. I mean, it's got bright white on the bottom, got that loud silver color, but mainly in clear water because it really stands out and looks like one of those shad out there. In the summertime, there are ponds that only eat either like top water, they only eat spooks or buzzbait, and whenever they're hitting on the buzzbait bite, this is my big whopper plopper. This is basically just a giant buzzbait that looks real, but these things are amazing. They got a tungsten weight system. They have I believe it's Gamakatsu hooks on it, and just an all-around great bait to have, made by River to Sea. You've seen a lot of people use them. They're pretty much sold out anywhere you go because they're such an amazing bait. Really good bait. I really highly recommend it. It has a great action. So if you're in a lake or a really big pond, I suggest throwing wherever those bass are deep. I suggest throwing a swim bait, and I'll throw this on with a hook like this. I believe this is a 4/0 hook with a 3-ounce weight attached to it, and screws in. This screws in here like this, and then the hook goes into it like that. So it swims through the water like that, it sinks to the bottom, and you swim it on through. I recommend me working this. I let it sink all the way to the bottom and slowly reel it across the bottom. That's when I get most of my strikes. Once again, if you're in a lake, a deep lake, I recommend throwing deep diving crankbaits. Right here, there's an 8XD, 10XD. Great all-around baits. Early in the morning or very late afternoon, I recommend throwing a topwater frog in the mornings. So here are my frogs. If you're in a small pond and they have a lot of thick mats or cover, those bass tend to get up under that because it's cool. They're not burning up all day. And I will throw this bait in ponds mostly. It's a small frog. Here's it compared to my thumb. That's how small it is. And I just work it like a normal frog, twitch it side to side, and get a lot of strikes on that. So here is my Booyah Pad Crasher, normal green color. And usually the bristles on the back of the frog go down to about here, and I trim them up just because I found that the bass really like it when it's shorter like that. It looks more realistic, like those legs. And I got a lot of hits after trimming up that tail. It walks really good. But my favorite frog by far is this Spro frog right here. It's got great design on it. It's just a good looking bait in general. Sucker has a really loud pop and really good action. Most people say that they're either biting one or the other color, or one either walking or one either popping. The bass really don't matter. If they're biting frogs, they're biting frogs. You can throw either one, they'll hit it. Top 5 baits for the summertime: deep diving crankbaits, drop shot rig, shaky heads, football head jigs, and a topwater spook or frogs in the morning or late afternoon, and a swim bait. A 12-inch Old Monster in redbug color Zoom worm. And last thing real quick before we end this video, I know you've heard this from a lot of people, but this really is important. Sun protection is key when you're out in the water. You can get skin cancer is very prone to fishermen out there, and you really need to protect your skin when you're out there fishing so you can stay healthy and hydrated. So I recommend bringing multiple bottles of water out there. Whenever you think you have enough bottles of water, always bring a little bit more because you will always want more. I recommend wearing thin long sleeve shirts like this. I don't get overheated, and it keeps my body protected from the sun. I recommend wearing sunglasses and a Hurag to protect your face and neck. So this is how I would typically wear this. There it is right there. Hurag, sunglasses, hat to protect you from the sun. People don't realize you get sun from above, and when you're on the water you get the reflection of the sun from above and the reflection of the sun onto the water, onto you, causing you to have way more sun than you need. So I recommend sunscreen, water, hat, glasses, Hurag. Stay safe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned for the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.